Your own bright future, Tom Trails.
Sam Preston had been injured by a gunshot wound. After the doctors had lost all hope that he would live, President Rubens and Brother Adams had given him a special priesthood blessing. Miraculously, through the power of the priesthood, which is the same power by which Jesus performed his miracles, the life of Sam Preston was preserved. One day, as Tom sat aboard the bus waiting for the journey home, he saw Sam coming from school towards the bus. As Tom watched him, his heart was full of love for Sam. He could still hear Sam's words in the biology class a few days before.
The reason why I know God's real is because I'm here. I was going to die. They laid their hands on me and blessed me. Well, I did live, and I'm here. And God's real. Don't ever doubt that.
Hey, Sam, could I talk to you on the way home?
Sure.
How you feeling anyway?
I'm okay. I can't let a little thing like a bullet get the best of me.
You're quite the guy.
Who, me? Yeah, I'm quite a guy. I'm a real idiot. That's what I am.
Don't rate yourself so low, Sam. No idiot could have said what you did in biology about God.
Yeah? Well, what else could I say? I just told the truth.
Your words really hit me in the heart. They seem to have hit Mr. Lewis pretty strong, too. Did you see the look on his face when you finished?
No, I didn't really notice.
Well, he was touched just like all the rest of us. By the way, Sam, I don't know if it's you or me or just what, but things have changed. I used to, well, I didn't think too much of you.
Aw, I don't blame you. There's not much about me to like.
Oh, yes, there is. It's like I say, things have really changed. And now, well, now I think you're a great guy.
Hey, you two, what you planning up there? You've been talking along like there's nobody else in the world.
We're planning on how to get all the girls kicked out of school so the boys can concentrate on studying and other important things.
Oh, Sam, you're so funny. By the way, Tom, why don't you invite your funny friend to come to seminary in the morning? It would do him good to get up early for a change.
That's an idea. How about it? We'd love to have you come.
Huh? Me, a Mormon? You must be kidding.
No, we're not. You don't have to be a Mormon to come.
Well, I don't know. I'll see.
The next morning, just as Roy had finished the opening prayer to begin the seminary class, in walked Sam. He quietly took a seat at the back and tried to draw as little attention to himself as he possibly could. Brother Adams, who sensed that Sam was a bit shy and didn't desire any special recognition or introduction, went right ahead as if Sam wasn't even there.
What is the greatest power force in the world today?
I'd say electricity.
How about the atomic bomb?
You might be right about the atomic bomb, except for one other power. Who was it that made this universe, the Earth, and all the other planets? Do you remember?
It was Jesus working under the direction of Heavenly Father.
That's right. Think of the power needed for such a project. We see men take months to build a road or a bridge using great and powerful equipment. And then we compare that to creating this earth. There isn't really a comparison, is there? Remember the miracles we discussed a few weeks ago? To perform deeds such as those would require great power, wouldn't it? Let's keep the idea of power in our minds as we read about more of the deeds of Christ. Remember the time when Jesus had been preaching to the people? He knew they had been with him a long time and that they were hungry. Let's read in John chapter 6, verses 5 through 14. Keith, read it for us, please.
When Jesus then lifted up his eyes, and saw great company come unto him, he saith unto Philip, Whence shall we buy bread that these may eat? And this he saith to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? And Jesus said, Make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down, in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. When they were filled, he said unto his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them together, and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, This is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world.
That would take quite a power, wouldn't it? If we read a few more verses, we will see another example of his power. Lily, read verses 16 to 21.
And when even was now come, his disciples went down unto the sea, and entered into a ship, and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea, and drawing nigh unto the ship, and they were afraid. But he saith unto them, It is I, be not afraid. Then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they went.
Sam's eyes were no longer looking down at the desk. He had become greatly interested in what he was hearing.
Can man change the weather? Did you know that Jesus could? After he had walked on the water, he entered the ship, and as he did this, the wind stopped. Another time, when he was aboard a ship on a stormy sea, his disciples came to him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So we see that Jesus had power far beyond any earthly power. He had the great power of God. Can anyone tell me what this great power is called?
It's called the priesthood.
Is this the same power by which Jesus healed those that were sick?
Yes, it is, Lily. It's also the same power which he gave to his 12 apostles and to the 70 other special assistants that he called and sent forth to build up his church.
Is this the same priesthood we have in the church today?
Yes, Ruby. It is the same power by which the Church of Christ is governed today.
Sam felt he didn't really have a right to intrude with a question, but he couldn't restrain himself.
Is it the same power that, well, did you and Mr. Rubens use this power to help me get better?
Yes, we did, Sam. It's the same power. But perhaps the greatest example of this power is what it can do to help those who can live the Lord's way and keep his commandments. You know, it takes great power in this world of temptation to be strong enough to follow Jesus rather than Satan.
Well, Sam, what do you think of seminary?
It's all right. I thought you people were doing crazy things every morning, but now I can see I was wrong.
Sam, I don't like to push anybody, but I've found a lot of happiness in trying my best to follow Jesus. And so, well, I'd like to see you find some of the same happiness.
Sam expressed a desire to learn more about Jesus and his church, and so it was arranged for Sam and Tom to meet the elders at the chapel the next night. After an opening prayer, Elder Tyson said,
Well, Sam, where shall we begin? Do you have any questions we could answer? Or should we just start at the beginning?
Yeah, I got a question. Why is everybody interested in me? Do you people know what I'm really like? You know, the day I got shot, I was meeting a guy about some stealing we did.
Yes, but you met him to tell him you were going to confess what you did.
Yeah, well, that don't mean anything. I did a lot of other things I haven't told anybody about. I'm just no good, and, well, you people act like I'm something.
We all have problems, Sam.
Problems? You think you got problems? Listen to this. did you ever kill your little sister? I really loved her. She was the cutest little kid in the world. The only reason I used to want to go home at night was to see her and help her learn to walk and talk. One day I came home and my mom asked me to tend little Susan. I told her I couldn't tend her. I was going to town. She begged me to stay home and tend Susan while she visited her mother, who was sick. I wouldn't, and told her to get my father to do it. She said Father'd been drinking again. She didn't want to leave Susan with him. I said maybe he'd sober up if he had something to do for a change. I left the house while she pleaded with me not to go. An hour or so later, Father loaded Susan in the car and headed for his favorite hangout. He left little Susan in the car. It was a cold night, so he decided to leave the car running so the heater could keep her warm. 2 hours later, I was coming home. I'd been drinking some wine with this other kid. When we saw the car, we decided to borrow it. I opened the door and smelled exhaust fumes. Then I saw little Susan. I grabbed her out of the car, but it was too late. The doctor came a little while later, but she was dead. I killed her. I killed her.
It sounds like it was an accident. If anyone was to blame at all, it was your father.
Oh, he wasn't to blame. He's not to blame for anything. How can you blame somebody who's drunk all the time? He left home after that. He's never been back since. I killed her. I could have stayed home and tended her, but I wanted to get drunk instead. Since then, I decided, what's the use? Didn't matter what else I did. I couldn't ever bring my sister back to life. I've done a lot of wrong things. You know I'm a loudmouth, Tom. You finally told me to shut up. Lily knows I'm no good.
Sam, I didn't have any right to threaten you that day. I just didn't understand. But you know your life was saved by the power of God. So you can see he thinks you're all right.
I wish I could change, but it'd take a miracle to change me.
You've had one miracle. How many do you want? Remember, we talked in seminary about the power of the priesthood.
Sam, if you would decide to follow Jesus and get baptized, you could change. You could also receive the priesthood and have within your own soul the power to govern your actions and live a righteous life.
Your father's problem is that he has no power within him, or he won't use the power that's there. He's like a piece of straw in the wind. You have a choice to make, Sam. Do you want a life like your father's, or do you want a life of joy and happiness?
Could I really do it? Could the Lord forgive me for what I've done? Could he give me the power to follow him?
He could, Sam.
You said a while ago, we could start at the beginning. Let's do that. I always said the Mormons were crazy. Now I know they aren't crazy, but they sure are different. I just hope I can be different like they are.